Yeah, today's topic, market structure. The last topic we did was organization, right? We talked about the types of organizations we have. So we see organizations are companies, but how do we fare? What do we really do in that market? We said we think as an organization, or we see an organization to be that institution selling goods and services for customers. So you are in a category, you will be defined as something. So what you are being defined as is what we call the market structure. So your own characteristic as a market, your own characteristic as a firm, what makes you different from others, what you really do, what you are portraying in terms of the goods, in terms of the services you render, is what we call the market structure. So what is market structure? It implies ways in which firms are differentiated and are characterized by the goods and services they produce and how they are affected with the external factors and elements. So, how a firm looks like. What makes us to say this is a firm, this is the type of firm it is. So the characteristics you have as a firm, as a company, as a business, is your market structure and how it affects those market factors. What are these factors we're talking about? The individuals, the government, your competitors. So how you relate with them, what you do with them, how it affects your business, how decisions you take affect your customers. These are all in the market structure. Do you understand that? Yes. So that means we can't have an organization without a market structure. And there's nothing we could even do without the structure. Do we get it? Because the structure will identify our base. A structure will tell us where we are heading to. A structure will tell us how serious or unserious we are. A structure defines us. Do we get it? So, now it said organizations do have two different goals to achieve, and they can be categorized as financial and what? Non-financial. Remember in the last class, we talked about the private business organization and the public parastatals or the public corporations. But as a private business organization, you have a goal to achieve. You have an aim. You have an objective. So these objectives can be what? Either financial or non-financial. So as a business, there are financial goals that has to be achieved, and there are non-financial goals that also has to be achieved. So what are the differences between these financial and non-financial goals? Why do we even call them financial goals? We call them financial goals because they involve revenue. They involve the revenue we make as a business. What comes to us as a business? These are all what we call financial goals. So let's see. They are as follows. One, increasing firm's revenue. So as a business, you might have an aim of increasing your revenue. What is your revenue? The sales you make. The money you get from those sales you make. So you might think of increasing it. Oh, this year I had $7 million. Next year it must be $9 million. So this is what you are aiming for, higher revenue. So that's what we call increasing firms revenue. So it's a goal that has to be achieved. Do you understand? Not financial goal here. The second one, maximizing profits. So you think of increasing your profit. You want to make profits to the highest possible. This is a financial goal. Do you understand? Financial goal here. The third one, reducing production costs. Cost is the amount you spend in ensuring that a good or service is being produced. So that cost, when you reduce your cost, it increases what? Your revenue, or it increases your profits. Because whenever cost is reduced, it allows you to have more with you instead of spend. That means you spend less than you used to spend. That is reduction in cost. Do you understand this? So when there is reduction in cost, a firm could make profits. A firm could charge lower prices. A firm could make higher sales. Because when your cost reduces, the price at which you sell to your customers will reduce. They have more customers. Remember the law of demand. When the price falls, consumers buy more. Consumers they buy more when the price falls. Do we get it? So these are what we call financial goals: increasing firms revenue, maximizing profit, reducing production costs. Then let's talk about the non-financial revenue, non-financial goals. Non-financial revenue, non-financial goals. Yeah, because these are financial. Non-financial goals. What are non-financial goals? These goals are not necessarily finance. They are things that we do that could later lead to financial goals, but they are not financial. Number one, capturing a large market share. So what's the market share? Market share is the percentage of your own sales in all the markets. So that means you as a company, what you sell, you want to increase your sales with others that sell the same product as yours. That's what we call market share. So I want to have more customers to me than my rivals. So when you have more customers, it means that your revenue will also what? Will increase. But we don't call it financial goal here because it's talking about the customers you want to have. Do we get it here? Yes. So here it is what? Increasing, having a large market share. Who are the markets? The customers. So you want more customers to yourself than to your rivals, than to your competitors. So if you have if the market has over 1,000 customers, you want 700, you want 600. So that means the rest of the competitors or your rivals, they walk around the 400 that is left. So your goal is to have all the customers with you. Do you understand that? So we can't call that what a financial goal. It is non-financial because we are talking about quantity. Is it clear? The second one, improving customer services. So your customers, I told you earlier that customers are what? We said this in previous classes. Customers are kings. So because they are kings, they make our business. We want to improve how we service them. We want to improve the way we relate with them. So this is not financial. Or is it financial? No. It is non-financial because you just want to relate, the way you relate with them, the way you deal with them, you want to improve it. You want to improve on it. You don't want them to continue to complain about certain things. So these are non-financial. Is it clear? Yes, sir. The third one, improving employees' morale. So your employees, they are also your customers. So people that work with you are your customers, but we call them internal customers. So they have to be happy too. So they have to be happy because when they are happy, they could do more. They are motivated. So when they are not motivated, it could affect your business. So if you are aiming to make profits, without your employees, you can't. Because the employees they are also part of the organization because they are stakeholders. So this is also what? Another non-financial goal. And improving employees' morale. You want them to be happy. You want to improve their motivation. Is it clear? So reducing the fourth one, reducing material wastage. The materials you use, you want to reduce the waste. So when you reduce waste, what does it mean? It means your cost will also reduce. Do you understand waste here? Waste is expensive. You continue to put things out. When they are waste, but they are taking part of your revenue. So why do we call them waste? We call them waste because they are expensive. We have made cost on them, but we get nothing back in return. That is why we call it what? Waste. We have invested on them, but they are not useful. So they became waste. So the only way we can reduce this, the only way we can increase our revenue is by reducing our waste also. So when you reduce your waste, that means your investment is yielding. That means what you are investing on is what is giving revenue. Do you understand that? So look at the notes here. All the non-financial goals will definitely lead to profit maximization. So all these goals, all the non-financial goals that we think they are non-financial, at the end of it all, when they are achieved, will lead to what? Financial goals, will lead to profit maximization, will lead to reduction in production cost, will lead to increasing the revenue. Because one, look at this, when your employees are happy, they produce more. They produce quality, they give quality services. And when they give quality services, it falls back to the customers. The customers are happy. The customers will return. The customers will come back again to buy from you. And when the customer continues to buy from you, there's customer loyalty. And what does that imply? It implies that your revenue will increase. So when your customers are happy, or when your employees are happy, your customers will buy more because your employees will produce better quality services and it increases your revenue. When your revenue increases, your profit will also what? Increase. What else about it? Reducing material waste. When you reduce the waste, that means you are producing better and quality products. That means you can sell more. And when you can sell quality products, what happens? Your revenue will increase. Why is it a waste in the first instance? It's a waste because customers don't want to buy them because they lack quality. Do we get it? So when you reduce those products that lack quality, it means that you are improving on products that have quality. And when your products have quality, what happens? Your customers will continue to buy. And when customers continue to buy from you, what happens? Your revenue will increase. And when your revenue increases, what happens to your profit? You will be able to maximize profit. Market share. When you increase the market share, what happens when you increase the market shares? It means that you have more customers to you. But initially, market share is not financial. It is not financial. But when you increase it, it brings you what? Increasing revenue. Because you have more customers now. And what do customers do for you? They pay for your products. They buy your products. And when they do buy your products, what happens? They pay for it. Revenue comes in. Increasing revenue. So all these non-financial goals will still lead to what? Financial goals. Because when these ones are achieved, it comes back to this. Do we get it? Okay. So we go back to our topic, the market structure. We have the types of market structure. We have monopoly, we have perfect competition, we have oligopoly, we have monopolistic, but we're not there yet. So these are the two market structure we need to discuss here. The monopoly. What is a monopoly? We said it's a market structure where there is only one producer of a product or service. So we call it a monopoly market because in this market, there is only one producer. So let's assume that this is a school. It's a school, and this is the only school in the whole country. So that means this school is what? A monopoly. Because there is no other school like this school. Do we get it? So maybe we have, this is a marker. Maybe there's just a firm that produces markers, just marker in this country. That firm is a monopoly. Because there is no other firm that produces the same product as that product. Do you understand the monopoly? That's why we said what? A monopoly is a market structure that has only one producer of goods or service. So how do we know it's a monopoly? So we have to check the characteristics. Number one, only producer of products with many consumers. So a lot of consumers, a lot of customers queuing for just that product because they can't find it elsewhere. So when customers can't find the product elsewhere, it is what? A monopolistic market. It is a monopoly. Do we understand that? Two, barriers to entry. The monopolist doesn't allow competition. The monopolist doesn't allow competition. So what does it mean here? How does monopoly even come into existence? Monopoly comes into existence because no other producers are able to produce. Do we understand here? It is a monopoly because there are no other competitors. So why don't we have other competitors? We don't have other competitors because they are not allowed to enter the market. Do we get it? So no other producers of such products. That's why we said this one, there's barrier to entry. No other company, no other firms can produce the same product as we are producing. So if this is the only school around this country, it means the government of this country does not allow other schools to come in. That means there's what? Barrier to entry. Do you understand barrier to entry here? Yes, so when there's barrier to entry on goods and services, such as this, we call it what? Monopoly. Is it clear? The third one, price maker. In a monopoly, price is determined by the producer, which allows it to make abnormal profits. So in a monopoly, there are no rivals. They are the only one producing. So because I am the only one producing this good, I am the only one producing these services, or rendering this service, I could charge any price I feel like charging. No one, customers don't have choice to buy. They can only buy from you. So that means you make up the price. Do you understand price maker here? So in a monopoly, the producers are the price maker because no other person is selling, no other firm is selling. So you are the only one selling. So you could charge any price you feel like charging. Do we get that? Do you understand, please? And the fourth one, lack of information for consumers. In a monopoly, you can't get information. So whatever information I'm passing across as a producer is the information you get. Do we understand here? If I tell you I have this marker, this is the only marker available, it is mixed with black and yellow, you take it as black and yellow. There's nothing you could do about it, because I am the only one with the information as a monopoly. Do we understand? So these are all characteristics of what we call monopoly. So when you have this type of things happening within an economy, we call it what? Monopoly. When there's only one school available, when there's only one person doing this thing, it's monopoly. Do you understand monopoly? Yes. Then the opposite of monopoly is what we call a perfect competition. So whatever are the characteristics here are the opposite of a perfect competition. So what is a perfect competition or a perfect competitive market? A perfect competitive market is that market that allows everybody to produce even the same product. Do you get what I just said now? Yes. Unlike monopoly, monopoly does not allow anyone to produce the same product, just one firm producing that product. But in a perfect competition, everyone can produce almost the same products. So let's see what we said. So it is a market structure where there is no barriers to entry or exit. So in a perfect competition, you can produce, you can start producing, you can stop producing. No one will stop you from stopping. And no one will stop you from starting. Do you understand the perfect competition here? So what are the characteristics of a perfect competition? Number one, many producers of homogeneous products. What are homogeneous products? Products that have the same usage. Coca-Cola, Pepsi. They are almost the same, but they are being produced. So if we have only Coca-Cola in this country, that means Coca-Cola is a monopoly. But we have Pepsi Cola, we have a lot of colas. So because that means that the market of cola is what? Is a perfect competition. Do we get it? So that means we have many producers of homogeneous products. Two, price taker. They don't only charge price, they check before they charge. They try to see the price that fits with customers or consumers. Unlike the monopoly, they don't care. They charge whatever price because you don't have competitors. But in a perfect competition, if the price is high here, we shift to other places that the prices are low. So that is why they try to work around price. That's why we call them price taker. Do you understand price taker here? Here they are price maker. Monopoly are what? Price maker. But here they are what? Price taker. Do we get it? The third one, no exit cost. Like I told you earlier, you can choose to start the business, you can choose to stop the business. No one is going to stop you from that. No one can stop you to start, no one can stop you to stop. Do we get it? Do we get that? The fifth one, many producers and consumers. What do we mean by many producers and consumers? It means that in a perfect competition, you can have a lot of producers producing the product, and customers can buy from anyone. Do we get it? Unlike here, all the customers will buy from that producer. But in a perfect competition, I could choose to buy A from A, I could choose to buy from B. But in a monopoly, you can't choose to buy from A or B because there's no A or B, there's only A or there's only B. Do you understand? Yes. And free information. So in a perfect competition, there's what? A free information. You could know how they make Pepsi, you could know how they make Coca-Cola. You could choose not to buy either, to buy another one. So producers will give you information you need because they know you need this information. They want you to be happy. They don't want to lose you because it's a competitive market. So whatever you ask from them, they're going to give to you. Unlike a monopoly, you don't even have to ask because there's no chance to. You are queuing to buy. You are eager to buy in a monopoly. So they will choose not to sell for you if you are asking so much from them. But here, they want you because there is competition. They have rivals. And to have you, they have to attract you. Do we understand? So we go to pricing. So what is pricing? Pricing is the way in which firms decide on their prices. So as a business, how do we charge our prices? What makes us to talk about price? We can't have a business without the price. So how do we go about charging our prices? In as much as we are not a monopoly that will give price, in the perfect competition, we have other customers, we have other rivals that sell. So how do we charge our prices? How do we make up with our prices? So number one, these are the types of prices we have. Penetrating pricing. What's a penetrating pricing? This implies giving price to enter a new market by charging higher prices. So when you charge higher prices, what does it imply? It means that we have started producing a marker. So when I start producing this marker, I want people to feel that this marker is what is expensive. It has quality. So I'm going to charge higher price. So most of the time, producers, they come up with a product, a new product, but it's expensive. So you know that when the product is so expensive and it's new, it might be of great quality. Do you understand penetrating pricing here? You charge higher prices into a new market so that consumers will feel like the product is very expensive and has quality. The second one, price leadership. So what is price leadership? It means that you as a firm, you are always the one to increase your price before your rivals, before the competitors. So let's assume maybe Pepsi, for every time that there's a price increment, it is always Pepsi that first increases price. So if Pepsi continue to increase its price first before others, we call it what? Pepsi as a price leader. Do you understand price leadership here? It means that you are the first to always increase your price as a business or as a firm. Do we get that? The third one, predatory pricing. Charging lower prices to attract customers. Here, you charge lower so that you can attract customers. That's predatory. Is it clear? And the fourth one, price war. What is price war? You know what war is, right? So firms charging the same or almost the same price as their rivals or competitors. Here, when Pepsi charge 1, I charge 1.2, or I charge 1. Do you understand? So we give the same price as our rivals. We sell at almost the same price so that customers can buy from me or can buy from you. So whenever we increase the price, I increase the price. Whenever we lower the price, I lower the price. Do you understand price war here? Any questions about this? Clear, right?